In this video, I'll explain how to do some basic density calculations. If you haven't already, you should check out my video where I do density demonstrations and explain why density is important. Density is mass divided by volume. We can write the equation d equals m over v, where d is density, m is mass, and v is volume. Typically in a chemistry class, mass will be given in grams, and volume will be given in either milliliters or centimeters cubed. Those units mean the same thing. It's often important to rearrange the density equation so that you're solving for mass or volume. If we want to solve for mass, then we would multiply both sides by volume. Volume would cross out on the right side of the equation because it's in the numerator and the denominator. And the equation becomes mass equals density times volume. When we want to solve for volume, then we need to cross multiply. That means we'll switch the places of volume and density. The reason this works is because we'll multiply both sides by volume, and we'll divide both sides by density. Volume crosses out on the right, and density crosses out on the left. The equation becomes volume equals mass over density. Let's use these equations to solve 3 different practice problems about density. In this first one, it says an iron nail has a mass of 15.748 grams and a volume of 2.00 milliliters. What is the density of the iron nail? Since I'm solving for density and I have mass and volume, my equation is d equals m over v. For m, I plug in 15.748 grams, and for v, I plug in 2.00 milliliters. The final answer would round to 7.87 grams per milliliter. In this problem, it says what volume would a 0.152 gram sample of helium gas occupy if its density is 0.178 grams per liter? Our equation is v equals m over d. I simply plug in 0.152 grams for the mass and 0.178 grams per liter for the density. The unit density is in the numerator and denominator, so it crosses out, and liter goes to the numerator. Our calculated answer is 0.854 liters. Our final practice problem says a sample of salt has a volume of 125 milliliters. What is the mass of the salt if its density is 2.16 grams per milliliter? Since we don't know mass, and we do know the density and the volume, our equation is m equals d times v. We plug in 2.16 grams per milliliter for d and 125 milliliters for v. Since milliliters is in the numerator and denominator, those units cancel out, leaving only grams. And the answer is 270 grams. There you have it. That's how to do some basic density calculations.